Yo everyone, peace, it's Theo. I'm back here today with another video. I was gonna make some on Instagram, but my phone definitely wasn't working with me outside, so I gotta purchase a new phone pretty soon basically. But today I am here with you guys with a new video on how money works. First things first, we have to delete any negative associations we have with money, because money can't talk, but it can hear. With that being said, your affirmations, your auto-suggestion, your self-talk is vitally important when talking about money, talking about relationships, talking about business, talking about anything. It's all about how you know yourself, how you think about yourself, because what you think about yourself, how you know yourself, what you do for yourself is ultimately what you do for others, say about others, and what you act upon on others and things. But with that being said, this is how money actually works. Let me retract real quick. The universe operates by law. Nothing happens by accident, right? Things happen by design, but nothing happens by accident. And when someone's lucky, that is nothing more than them being prepared and opportunity meeting them at the right time. Alignment, right? So with that being said, understand this. Money goes to those who talk about it. Money only goes to those who talk about it. If you're not afraid to talk about money or to ask about money, money will come to you. Never let the conversation of money scare you away. And when talking about money, always know exactly how much you want, right? Because what's the point of talking about money if you don't know how much money you want? And saying lots of money is not good enough. If you were homeless, $5 more would be more, because that's enough to buy you a meal. Right? So when you talk about how much money you want, make sure you're very specific, right? Because if you're not specific, A, that only shows that you don't have no goals. B, if you're not specific, that only goes to show that you don't have anything aligned for your future. And C, that only goes to show that you're like a boat with no navigator in it. You're just loose, right? So the idea here is to know exactly how much money you want. And don't be greedy. Although when it comes down to asking for how much money you want, it should never be greed. When you go into how much money you want, never think of greed, never think of envy, never think of anything that deals with lack and limitation. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Because worry is a sin. It's just a waste of imagination. And don't doubt yourself, because doubt is a sin, and that's only limiting you to what you can truly have. Right? Money goes to those who love it. Now, I'm not saying that you should love it so much that you love money more than people. Love people more than you love money. But understand this. Money goes to those who love it. They say the root of all evil is the love of money. No, that's not right. No, it's not. The root of all evil is ignorance. Because anything that is evil distracts. In other words, the Maya is the root of all evil. Because the Maya is the illusion. Illusions are the root of all evil. Ignorance is the root of all evil, right? So we must understand that the illusion of money is the root of all evil. The illusion of knowing yourself is the root of all evil. The illusion of knowing is the root of all evil. And ignorance is its counterpart, is its partner in crime. With that being said, understand this. Money goes to those who understand it. So if you don't have the money that you want right now, that's only because you don't understand it. If you change the way you look at something, ultimately you change the way you understand it. Why or how? Because once you change your perspective, you change your whole world. All you have to do is relearn what you thought you knew. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. It'll be the ones who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Right? If you don't understand something, ask questions, because you may think you know something. But just because you think you know does not mean you actually know. Because if you actually knew, your actions will match your words. Period. With that being said, understand this, that the greatest asset to a wealthy person, the greatest asset to a millionaire is his health. So if you're taking care of yourself, you will never need anyone else. Right? It's all about health, because health is wealth. right? The most valuable commodity that I know of is information, because money is actually the lowest form of it's the lowest form of currency. Excuse me. Excuse me. So we must understand that when you talk about money, first you need to seek to understand, because faith based upon understanding is the key to freedom. And faith is nothing more than the ability to see to look at the unknown. Excuse me. Faith is the belief Faith is the ability to look at the unknown and still believe in something. Right? You're looking at something that doesn't even exist yet, and you still believe that it can exist because you understand the law of attraction, right? You understand that visualization is the key to the future, and you also understand that organized planning is a way to get to what you need as well. A goal is nothing more than a plan with a deadline, in other words. With that being said, money goes to those who know how to circulate it. So, if you are only investing in junk food, liabilities, things that don't serve you, you're investing in things that don't increase your life at all whatsoever, it doesn't even lead you to advancement, then obviously money will not be coming to you, because money only goes to where it's invited and it stays where it's welcome. So again, money can't talk, but it is a great listener. And it only goes where it's invited and it stays where it's welcome. So figuring out what assets to invest in to generate more money is vitally important, because it's now a necessity to have multiple sources of income. It's not something that you can just talk about. It's a necessity now. It's essential to have. It's essential to learn about, and it's a necessity to have. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, understand this, that your relationship with yourself will ultimately determine your relationship with money. Temet no si, know thyself. Money goes to those who know how to multiply it. So in other words, how you multiply money is by magnetizing yourself to it. How you multiply yourself to money is becoming more valuable or more useful. How do you become more valuable? By becoming more desirable. How do you become more desirable? By becoming more attractive. How does one become more attractive? Either A, you get to know yourself, or B, you allow other people to control you. Right? Because the only way that I know of that you can become more valuable is allow someone else to control you, or know yourself enough to where you can have control of yourself and know how to give off information that increases and advances every person that comes in your path. You cannot give someone more in cash market value than they give you. It's impossible. It'll always be a mutual exchange. But you can give someone more in use value than cash value. In other words, the phone that I have now, I exchanged it for $300 because that $300 was not useful to me. But this phone was useful to me because this phone can bring me more money. Therefore, trading $300 for a phone that can bring back more money than $300 was obviously an asset. It's useful. It's valuable, right? So with that being said, understand this, that when you invest in the right things, an investment in knowledge pays the most interest, because the more you learn, the more you earn ultimately. So there are two ways you can become more valuable as a person. There are two ways you could become more attractive. There are two ways you could become more desirable. Again, you can work more. You can work for someone else. You can do more hours for that person, or you can develop skills. You can develop a mind that is intelligent and knows how to organize its own knowledge to disseminate those to other people, to transfer those to other people. Because if it's not transferable, it cannot be learned. And if it can't be learned, it cannot be scaled. If it's learnable, it's scalable. And if it's scalable, it has to be transferable. Because if you can't transfer it, that means you cannot distribute it. And if it cannot be distributed, you're not contributing. People want results that stick. They don't want results that are flimsy, that are insubstantial. That are of course, imagination is more important than knowledge, but when it's intangible to a fact to where they gain nothing from it, there is no gain from it, then you have done that person wrong. There are two barriers to success: our mental conditioning and our environment. And what contributes to our failure is a lack of information and an absence of awareness. Right? So, with that being said, we must understand this, that we are limited by a weakness of attention and a poverty of imagination. So a lack of focus and poor thinking. Right? Lack of focus emanating from a absence of awareness, and poor thinking emanating from a lack of information. Right? False information, illusion. Right? The enemy to knowledge is illusion of knowledge. And the sidekick to that villain, the sidekick to the villain is ignorance. Because the cause of all fear is ignorance. And fear is false evidence appearing real. And fear is also a self-created emotion based upon a pseudo-realization or a fake realization that one does not have the capacity to overcome one's own experience. So the only reason why you feel like you cannot overcome what you're going through now is because you're not confident. And the only reason why you're not confident is because you don't understand what you're getting into. The only way you can understand anything is if you study it. Because when you study something, that's how you actually know something. The source of all knowing is experience. And when you are experiencing something, that is how you actually know something. Right? When you're in the happening, when you're in the doing, when you're in the thing that is going on, that is how you know. When you're truly experiencing what's going on, that is how you know. Right? And the greatest source of wisdom is observation. Because if you cannot observe what's going on, how will you ever know? You have to first accumulate awareness before you can actually gather information. And with that being said, you have to fail, because if you don't fail, if you're not experimenting with what you think you know, you'll never gather any real results. And if you don't have any actual results, there's no point of crying. Because if you don't fight for what you want, you will only cry for what you lost. Understand this. You are the one that you are searching for. You are the savior. You are the protector. You are the one that's secure. All these things are within you. You cannot find these things outside of you. You have to discover them within you. They are not something you stumble upon on the outside. You discover them within you. And as you make these discoveries, well, they could say, it feels so good to be alive, baby. Why? Because the more you know about yourself, the more fulfilled you become. The more fulfilled you are, the more influential you are. Because you cannot influence anyone else before you influence yourself. You have to influence yourself first. And the more you influence yourself, the more power you accumulate. But power cannot be accumulated without knowledge. Power cannot be accumulated without understanding. Right? And what I mean by power is organized and intelligently directed knowledge. And I got that from the book Think and Grow Rich. Too much power is overwhelming. But a lack of power will leave you weak and therefore vulnerable. We have to understand that the only way we're going to make it out of this is if we get to understand ourselves, if we get to know ourselves. That means you have to be gentle. You have to be patient. You have to surrender, but also show discipline. And as you do these things will gradually shape and form your lifestyle. It's all a practice. You have to practice it because practice makes perfect. Repetition is how you reprogram your subconscious mind. So all you got to do is repeat, and be consistent. And when people are doubting you, when people are worried about you, when you worry because people are doubting you, persevere, because persistence is the key to success. Consistency is also a key, but persistency is one hell of a key. Right? We all want to be successful, but we don't know what we want. Being successful is knowing what you want. Because a person is successful when they know where they are, they know where they're going, and they're progressively moving in that direction. In other words, a person is successful when they're doing what they want in life. Right? If a person wants to run a gas station, that person's successful. If a person wants to make videos, that person's successful. If a person wants to be homeless, that person is successful. Success or riches is getting what you want out of life. Right? Everyone's rich. You may lack a little cash, but you're rich. Once you realize you create happiness, you become rich. Because I realize I create happiness. Right? Riches cannot be created or destroyed. I can't like poof and then instantly money come here. I can't poof and instantly all the money's gone. Riches are transferred. And this is by law, going into law, perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It's transferred. Right? God cannot be created or destroyed. God is transferred. In other words, we must understand that all this stuff that I'm speaking is from an oral tradition. In the beginning, there was the Word, and that Word was God. Also, we can also say logos. I'll say logos because that's what I know. In the beginning, there was the Word, and that Word was logos. Logos was God because logos means God. In other words, my words are God as we are gods. Right? God is a vibrational frequency that exists within you. And the only way you're going to discover that is if it is transferred to you. In other words, you have to actually pay attention. Focus on yourself, but pay attention to others. And as you sow appreciation, the universe will give you things to be grateful for. And the more you are grateful, the universe will then give you more things to appreciate. It's a perpetual transmutation. The media, the news, all it does is give you a perpetual transmutation of fear. Because its only currency is fear. Every time you turn on the news, the only current information that they have is fear. All it does is it's designed to make you worry about every single day. It's designed to make you worry. The coronavirus doesn't even exist. There is no illness, only health. There is no lack, only abundance. There is no poor, no poverty, only wealth. But to think truth, regardless of appearance, is laborious. And that is why people judge. People judge because it's really, really difficult to think. That is why people judge. It's very hard to think. But once you become empowered to think for yourself versus knowing what to think, that is the beginning of your journey. I don't know which way I'm going. I barely know what the heck life is. But I do know that I can hear my way around. And as I listen with my heart, not my ear, you hear with your ears, but you listen with your heart. As I listen, I then gather information that helps me understand myself on a day-to-day basis. The idea, though, is not to live forever, but is to build something that lasts forever. I am focused primarily on what I'm contributing every single day versus what I am getting. And the things that I distribute are going to be packed with value, packed with volume, packed with information, packed with potential, packed with power. Because I only wish to get what I give. Because the point of living is giving. And as I sow, so shall I reap. You'll know me by my fruits, and you'll know me by my results. I do not get pleasure by my leisure. I get pleasure by my labor. With that being said, because I realize that is why I am only going, I do this because this is the only thing I want to get paid for. I don't ask myself, I don't say to myself, I love this so much, I do this for free. No. I love this so much that this is the only thing I will do for money. And I don't mean that in the sense of narcissistic. I don't want to be egocentric here in the sense of edging God out. No. but I know my worth because I value my time. And I only wish to help other people value their time because I want to help other people figure out what they are worth. What are you worth? How much money do you want, in other words? Right? How much do you want? And don't say lots of, because lots of $5 more is more. If you're homeless, $5 extra will get you a meal. That might be lots of money to you. So when you're looking for how much money you want, make sure it's how much you really want. Right? And when you're figuring out how much money you want, ask yourself, why do you even want it? Because what would you do if money was no object? If money didn't exist, what else would you do? Because obviously money isn't everything, but we also know that poverty can't buy anything. So with that being said, what would you do if money weren't even the thing? And when you figure that out, well, they get to say, it feels so good to be alive, baby. Why? Because now you have found your purpose. No reason. Now you know your why. And when you know those things, those are much more important than money, sex, or any other materialistic thing on this planet. With that being said, though, we must understand that the money that we earn will be an exact ratio for the need of what we do, the demand, our ability to do it, the supply, and the difficulty there is in replacing us. And there are 3 strategies of earning money. There is 96% is the first one. They do time for money, labor for money, physical work for money, working hard, being honest. Riches never come on the behalf of hard work and honesty alone. Never. If you think that, perish that thought. It's not true. The second way people make money, and this is only 3% of the population does this, is money for money. Money at a discount. Revenue at a discount. Right? They're trading their money to earn more money. Such as like stocks or real estate. Real estate being revenue generation. Stocks being money at a discount. Right? The very last way people make money, and not many people know about this, but it's called multiple sources of income. Basically, multiplying your time for money. And only 1% of the population does this, and they make actually 96% of the money. Right? They make 96% of it. How they do it is because they focus on what they're distributing. And when you focus on what you distribute, you will then focus more on what you're contributing to. And when you focus on what you're contributing to, that will then strengthen your purpose. Because riches come to you in response to a definite demand based upon definite principles, not by chance or luck. In other words, you can transmute ideas into cash with organized planning and a definite purpose. Because when you have purpose and a definite plan, you then move more. You then move more in alignment with what you want. Because a goal is nothing more than a plan with a deadline. And when you have a purpose for what you're doing, if it's actually useful, it will prove its value in everyone else's lives, depending on if it's advancing them or taking away from them. Right? Because the idea for me is to be an asset for anyone or any group I join. I want to be an asset for anyone and everyone. But I also know my worth because I don't work for free. You know what I'm saying? I don't work for free. Because when I work for someone, I actually have to put my time into that. I have to put my labor into. I have to actually work. Right? And when you ask someone, well, how do you work? Because everyone says, well, you got to work to do this. Well, how do you work? You know what I'm saying? With that being said, we must understand that you can have, do, and be anything you want in life. You can have, do, and be anything you want in life. All you have to do is just make a decision. And with that being said, y'all stay hydrated, eat healthy, and remember that you matter. Peace.